A photo of the couple was circulating online. They had gotten married at age 95 and 96, and they were being called America's oldest interracial newlyweds. And a friend texted the picture to me, and I just kept looking at it, and I wanted to know more about them and what it would be like to fall in love at that time in your life. So I connected the dots to the family, and they invited me down to meet them, and within a few days I was on a bus from New York to Virginia. And actually the opening scene in the film where we see them dancing together was the first time that we met. I feel like they cherished each other even more because, every day was something to hold dear. And at the same time, just that tenderness and excitement that I think you feel from, young, usually starts early, to see that was, it's like that doesn't change, whatever that feeling that we get inside when we're fond of someone, that feels like something that, remains true and possible throughout your whole life. So Steve James is a mentor of mine, and he and I met while I was making my first documentary, which is called Lucky, which is a feature doc. We met and bonded, and he became an executive producer of that film and gave me editorial advice, and then we continued the relationship. And so with Edith+Eddie, I always just kept asking for his advice because he's a master, and he then brought me into the fold at Cartem Quinn, and they fell in love with the film and came on board to help get it out there. I got on a bus to Virginia, and we would just get there by any means possible when it felt like it was important to be there, and stayed over at people's houses who were really generous to let us stay, sometimes drive back that very same night, edit it on my laptop, and so it was just really bare bones. And I also think that there wouldn't have been any other way to make this film. I think it's a really nuanced spectrum, and what we've learned is that often when somebody is deemed to be incapacitated, or that box is checked that says you have dementia, mm-hmm. there's no thought or recognition of what a broad spectrum that is. So maybe you need help with certain things and not with others. And she was very lucid about wanting to be with Eddie and her love for him, and she often spoke almost in prayer. She would recite poetry. She would sing to him, over meals. Mm-hmm. And it was just really beautiful to get to know her. It's incredibly alarming to learn that what happens with Edith and Eddie is happening to elders all over the country, and that it's often experienced in isolation. So families often don't know what hit them. And I just have heard horror stories from all over, and there's a through line that's similar, even though, everyone's family and situation is unique. And it is, I think that it's a system that was implemented with intentions of protecting elders, and now has become like a feeding ground for the people who are appointed to protect, are often exploiting and taking advantage of those very same people. There's no federal oversight. Guardianship is a state-by-state system, and so there's no statistics on it at all. And that's, again, what allows this sort of situation to fester. It's estimated that there's between 1.5 and 3 million people in this country under court-appointed guardianship. Wow. That's a really big range, right? So there's not even like the basic numbers here, let alone people watching over what's happening